When it comes to using a tarp, be it a sill nylon tarp or a nice cotton canvas tarp, no matter what it is, tension is of the utmost importance. Keeping it nice and taut and not allowing any sag is super, super important. Now, if you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, I showed a ton of different ways to use your tie out lines in order to keep tension and tightness to that tarp. But recently I saw a new little trick, and I tried it this past weekend, and I am excited about it. That's why I'm gonna share it with everybody here. It's awesome, trust me, real cool. But let's roll the intro and then we'll get into it. Now, before I show you the actual trick itself, when I talk about tensioning out your tarp, it is important with a ridge line and let's say a lean-to type configuration to make sure it's tight. But normally to retighten that tarp, you're gonna pull out your tent peg and add some tension. If you're flying a tarp though, in an A-frame configuration or up over a hammock, I always suggest not trying to get the ends down to the ground. Put some type of rope or tie out on there. In this case, we have a daisy chain, so I have some adjustability, but today's trick is gonna give you way more adjustability than that. So for today's project, you're gonna need your tie out line, which I, in this case, brought bright orange so you can see it better when we're tying the knots. And then you're also gonna need 2 washers, just like a normal size washer will work. I know you probably think, well, what is, I don't know, just like, this is like the size of a quarter. It's gonna work perfectly though for you, trust me. So some washers. So here we have the end of our tie out line and I have my 2 washers. I'm gonna take my 2 washers and I'm going to place them over the end of the line. I'm gonna bring it in a little bit. Now, the washer that's further in on the line, meaning this one, because this one is of course closer to my cut edge, okay? So we're gonna go to this one, we're gonna take the cut edge and we are going to stick it through there. Once I do that, I'm gonna just pull the line, and what that's going to do for us is create something that looks like this, okay? Now, when it does this, it's giving you a hint. The hint is that this washer right here needs to get tied off with the end of our line. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust my line that I have a little bit extra here to tie out on. Okay, pull that. So right here we are. Now, a ton of different ways you can tie this off. All I'm gonna just use is a slip knot with 2 wraps around. It'll look a little bit nicer, I think a little bit cleaner. So I'm gonna just wrap that around 1, 2. Tie this thing off, okay? And now I'm just gonna slide that up to this washer. Now what I created here was a tensioning device with the 2 washers. So I have my loop end here, and then I have my tensioning device up here. Pretty cool, right? So let me show you this thing in action. Tent peg in the ground, we have our tensioning device holding our tie out in place. Now, if we wanna loosen this thing up, really simply, we just grab the top washer, which is the one that's locking it in, and then we simply just pull down, and that gives us slack. Now, there is a little bit of a trick to make this thing tighter. You can't just push it up because it really binds up on itself quick. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna follow the line down from your tarp that goes through the first washer. You're gonna grab that and you are going to keep pulling that to where you want it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just work that top washer up, lock it in place how I would want it, and then I'm just gonna pull it that way. And then at that point, it retightens up my tension. I can reset this how I want it, and my tension is back in place. So really quick, real easy. So that's my tip for today. I hope you like it. I hope you give it a try. At least it's a tool for the toolbox. Check it out at home before you go out, and then if you like it, add it to all of your kit. So this was Dan Walk of Coalcracker Bushcraft. As always, check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com. Keep your tarps tight, and until the next video, stay in the woods.